Welcome to Keith Bracey's In the Clubhouse, my sidelong glance at rugby union, internationally, nationally, and in the Southern Hemisphere as well. Southern Hemisphere, Chris? Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere. You don't get that in football, do you?
No.
You get Europe against South America, don't you, in football?
That's right.
It's Northern Hemisphere against Southern Hemisphere in rugby. And we're about to embark on the biggest test of Northern Hemisphere rugby against Southern Hemisphere rugby with the Autumn Internationals, Chris. So, but first thing I want to talk about this week is the second round of the European Rugby Champions Cup. The standout result for me was Glasgow Warriors' second win on the bounce in France, 13-15 against Montpellier, which was a fantastic result because Glasgow Warriors had never won in France before, so that was really good. And it's tough for British clubs to win in the land of the Grenouille and the L'escargot.
Oh, I love L'escargots.
You love Escargots?
Yeah.
Do you know what they are?
They're
little Bryans, aren't they?
Yeah.
Little Bryans.
Yeah. You know, I lived in France for 3 years.
I remember you said the Côte d'Azur, wasn't it?
I never had an escargot or a frog's leg till I came.
A Grenouille.
Till I came back to Birmingham.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we have 4 Michelin-starred restaurants in Birmingham now, don't we?
No, they were doing like samples around the ball ring. And they're asking people to taste it, and that's what they were. Tastes like chicken.
Typical.
Tastes like chicken.
Tastes like chicken,
Yeah,
indeed.
tastes like chicken.
Anyway, the other surprise result for me was the Scarlets 15, Leicester 3, and Leicester struggling basically, but another Anglo-Irish, Anglo-Celtic confrontation was Munster, who beat the Saracens 14-3. Now Saracens have had the toughest possible start to the European Cup. Last weekend they had Clermont d'Auvergne, who are the second-ranked French side, only to Toulon, who they managed to beat at home at Allianz Park. And this week, sadly, but Saracens lost on Friday night 14-3 to Munster. Those Munster men, yes, they're at Thomond Park.
Oh no, wrong one.
They are Munstermen, but they're rugby playing Munstermen. They're not guys like Frankenstein and Lurch and all those lots. So anyway, there are the Magnificent Seven. Remember them?
Mm-hmm. They came after the Magnificent Six.
The Magnificent Two were Morecambe and Wise, weren't they? Remember?
Yes. Yeah.
They had a film, didn't they? Remember Morecambe and Wise in a film called?
They made a couple of bad films, didn't they?
They did. They weren't really very film friendly, were they? Yeah,
terrible.
Brilliant on TV, but anyway, the Magnificent Seven. It's not those gunslingers led by Yul Brynner. It's the Magnificent Seven unbeaten clubs in the European Rugby Champions Cup, who comprise Toulon, Toulouse, Clermont-Auvergne, the 3 French clubs, Harlequins, Leinster, Munster, and Glasgow Warriors. So those are the Magnificent Seven unbeaten clubs in the European Champions Cup. So
fantastic.
That's after 2 rounds. Now this weekend we move away from the European Champions Cup and giving us like an hors d'oeuvre, if you like. Bit of a French theme this week, isn't it?
Very. I think
you've been eating garlic.
Pronunciations.
You've been eating garlic.
Yeah.
I bought some garlic flatbreads from Morrison's yesterday.
I have
very
actually had
tasty.
some garlic cheese tonight. Yeah.
And you have garlic cheese. Oh, right.
I'll just breathe all over you.
Oh, thank you. Well,
I did garlic mushrooms.
Very nice.
In fresh cream, double cream, parsley sauce.
Very nice, Nick.
Thickened with Parmesan cheese.
Oh, well,
you're a bit of a gourmet, are you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and you're still here.
I should have gone back home and put them in the slow cooker actually earlier, but failed miserably. Some venison steaks. I'm going to cook those in port.
Venison steaks.
Very nice.
Port and.
Is this a vintage port?
No.
Sainsbury's Best?
So yeah. That would
Just a normal port.
Just
A ruby.
Yeah.
We ought to do a food show, Chris.
Being posh.
With our 4 Michelin-starred restaurants in Birmingham, why not?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The foodie show. The TVs are washed with food shows. Why can't we have a radio food show?
Yeah.
Might not work on radio though, might it? You know? Can't really taste it or smell it, can you? You know what I mean? It's a bit difficult food shows on radio.
It's a bit like Domino's on the radio, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, or
Spreaker.
Or a face. I've got the face for radio, you know.
We all said that. We'll all agree with you as well. We'll agree with
Thank
that.
you.
Don't worry about
Thank you. Back to my Franco.
No arguments here.
Musings about rugby. So there we have the Magnificent Seven. As I say, this week we go to the much disliked Anglo-Welsh Cup, the LV, not the LDV Cup, which used to be the League Cup. Somebody's phone's going. Anyway, we've got the LV Cup between the English and the Welsh sides for the next 4 weeks while the autumn internationals are on. Back to the European Cup. Glasgow Warriors, as I say, are my team of the week, having beaten Montpellier.
Just to reiterate, there are how many European Cups are there? There's two.
There are two cups. The Champions Cup and the Challenge Cup.
That's right. Okay.
The Champions Cup replaced the Heineken Cup,
Yeah.
and the Challenge Cup replaced the Amlin Cup.
Got ya.
So that's the two tiers. The Champions Cup is for the top clubs, top 20 in Europe,
Right, okay.
and the Challenge Cup is for the the ones that finish lower down the league.
Got ya.
Anyway, Toulouse have been suffering like Leicester. They're the PSG of French rugby, if you like. They're unbeaten. They beat Bath at the Rec 21-19 at the weekend, and in another Anglo-Welsh clash after the Scarlets beat Leicester 14-3, as I say. 15-3. We had George North and George North and his Northampton Saints, as the Saints go marching in against the Ospreys, who have been unbeaten this season. Can you believe that? Ospreys unbeaten. Anyway, but George North really rubbed it in on his Welsh teammates and scored 4 tries at Franklin's Gardens in a 34-6 win for the Saints over the unbeaten Ospreys. So sad for the Ospreys this weekend. Their unbeaten record had to come to an end soon. But as usual, Welsh club rugby flatters to Welsh regional rugby flatters to deceive. Cardiff Blues and the Newport Gwent Dragons are in the Challenge Cup. There's only two the Ospreys and the Scarlets in the main Champions Cup competition, but George North is certainly on form going into the Autumn International, scoring those 4 tries on Saturday. So, beware opposite wings playing against, because Wales are playing the top 3 Southern Hemisphere nations, as are England. So, which will hopefully replicate for them the 4 rounds of the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, and the finals of the Rugby World Cup, should they get that far. We'll wait and see what happens in the World Cup, which is happening about a year from now, in September-October 2015. In the All-London clash yesterday, Quins beat Wasps, who are moving to Coventry, as we know, 16-23. The next European Cup match that Wasps play will be against Castras at the Castres Olympique. At the Ricoh Arena, Chris. So in December.
Oh, fantastic!
They'll have a back-to-back games against Castres. One at the Ricoh, and that'll be in early December. So I'll get me tickets now, I think, to see Castres play London. Well, it won't be London Wasps; they'll be Coventry Wasps.
Yeah,
but
it's definitely going to be. They're definitely going to be called Coventry Wasps.
I don't know.
I haven't heard it. Actually,
they're going to be. It has got to be quiet. Yeah, it's. I think they're really. It wasn't handled well by the Wasps hierarchy, I don't think, towards the fans, but it was simply announced as a fait accompli. And more French for you there, Chris. Sorry, mate.
That's all right, don't worry.
Bracy is a French name, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, it comes from Le Brasseur.
Right.
My ancestor, Surlot de Bracoeur, actually, that's a real name,
really?
Surlot de Bracoeur, came over with the Conqueror.
It sounds like something that was on...
I didn't make that up.
On Carry On or something.
No, Surlot de Bracoeur was... Brasseur is where the root of the name Bracy comes from, and Brasseurs were brewers. So we were the brewers that came over with the Conqueror, with the Normans.
Yeah, right.
Cool. There's a link.
There's a link.
I did. There is a. What a link that was.
Oh.
That was a segue, wasn't it?
No, it was a link.
It was a link. It wasn't a segue.
No, it was a link.
I did want to ask you about breaking news. Gary Rowett has been appointed as the Birmingham City manager. Can I quote you, Mr. Nick Spall, on this one?
Yes, you can. At 3:45 this afternoon. Official announcement to be made at the club tomorrow.
Excellent. And what do you think of his appointment, Chris? Nick? And Chris?
I have to wait and see.
Yeah.
The jury's out, really. Yeah. As you said, he'll be a hero or a zero, won't he?
Hero. I mean, if he keeps him up, he's a hero. If he goes down, then it's the board's fault.
He's a very promising young manager, and it's given him a chance to manage at the higher level.
Oh, yeah.
And if he's any good, he'll come of age and he'll do the business for the Blues. So as a Villa fan who are playing tonight against QPR in a bloody relegation match, really, Villa 15th and QPR bottom. I do hope the Blues get back to where they belong in the Premier League. And so that Villa are playing the Blues in the Premier League because nobody likes to see what the Blues are going through at the moment. Well, I know a lot of Villa fans do, but I'm not one of them. I'm an equable
I know
sort
what
of
you
chap.
are.
Yeah.
But you don't know, do you? Nobody wants to see any club go through this.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I certainly didn't want to see Portsmouth or Coventry
Absolutely,
or
yeah,
Southampton.
that's true.
You know,
But look where Southampton are now,
I
Danny.
certainly wouldn't want to see them up the road go through it either. I mean that from the heart of my bottom.
Well, I'm with you on that. I mean, I hate what's happening to the Blues. The only club that carries the name of our fair city of Birmingham, you know, and I want them to be doing well. You know, all clubs in the West Midlands to be doing well. I'm not one of these tribal fans who hates the Blues just because they're the Blues. I want them to do well. I want Birmingham clubs to do well. I want Black Country clubs to do well. I want Staffordshire clubs to do well. So yeah, there we go.
You want those Wussy boys to do well.
Oh yes, on to the Wussy boys. Yes, we. I had a day out from the home.
Oh, they let you
on
out?
Saturday. They let me out on
Oh, well
Saturday.
done.
Yeah. I had a garden.
I told you it would come, didn't I?
With a carer or without?
With a carer in my wheelchair, and well, I shouldn't joke about people in wheelchairs.
Of course
really,
not.
shouldn't.
No.
I don't actually use a wheelchair. I shouldn't say that.
No,
it's
no,
very,
no.
very poor of me, in poor taste. And I think
Don't worry, we're used to it.
a bit like that Tory minister said we're being swamped by immigrants, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
What a twerp he was! What a Tory
It's just a play on
twerp!
words, and I think too much gets read into it, Keith. To be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
Swamped.
Yeah.
We're not swamped. We're not swamped here
No.
in the West Midlands.
No.
I welcome immigrants. I couldn't get a curry or a balti without an immigrant.
We're all mongrels.
A mongrel race, Chris.
We
A
are
mongrel
very
race.
few mongrel
Norman
races.
French.
Yeah, Norman
That's my other
French,
name.
yeah,
I'm a Norman Frenchman, you know.
Celtics, Germans.
Celtics, Germans, Anglo-Saxons, Jutes,
Yeah, the lot.
Romans, Celts.
And
Can I say that, Chris?
we wouldn't be
Celts?
the race we are now if it wasn't for
Well, it's
Those Vikings.
we're a melting pot.
Yeah,
We're a melting
yeah,
pot.
I know, yeah.
Irish. I mean,
Yeah,
you can
crikey,
trace
yeah.
Irish ancestry as
Oh,
I
Jesus.
can. My mum's name was Merriman, which is a very Irish
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
They were all ginger-haired and
Yeah.
pale.
Beards.
No,
No?
they weren't Vikings. No.
Oh, no.
They weren't Vikings, no. Anyway, back to the rugby. Yes, I went down to Billesley Common on Saturday because it was a fiver in to watch my favourite club, who I've supported since 1970, not 1870 as I was about to say, 1970, Moseley, take on those Wussy boys,
Oh, yeah.
local derby. And fair play to Moseley. They really pushed the boat out on this one. They reduced ticket prices. I think normally it's £15 to £20 to go and watch Moseley play at Billesley Common, but they reduced prices across the board to £5, which was excellent. And they reaped the benefit because they had a very good crowd. £5 to watch top class rugby.
Jesus.
Well, you know, it was very good, and I really enjoyed it. And had a few pints, and I had about a pint of Gauls.
Did you?
Gauls mild,
Right.
which was really nice.
It didn't hurt then.
Really, no, didn't hurt my ghouls. No, but sadly for Moseley though, they came unstuck somewhat. They lost 39-0 to those Wussy boys. It was a bit of a youthful side that Moseley put out. In fact, I don't think I knew any of the players who were playing for Moseley that night, that afternoon. But Worcester also put out largely a second string. But it was great. It was great to see one of my son's ex-friends from school, from Old Swinford Hospital School, starring for Worcester on Saturday. Yes, his name is Max Stelling. Would you believe? Big shout out to Max. Good evening, Max, if you're listening. I hope you are. As you're pounding the weights in the gym, no doubt, as a professional rugby player, which he is. He was at school with my son, Adam. Max was. Not Max. I think his dad, Nigel Stelling, he's a barrister. Very lovely man, Nigel. Bit follically challenged and nice guy, though. He was the chairman of Minion Juniors at Moseley when my son started to play when he was 6. And Max started to play when he was 5. And now Max is 20. And in the Worcester, in a professional rugby player with Worcester. And on Saturday against Moseley, who were the club that nurtured him, would you believe? He played his rugby at Moseley from the age of 5 till he was 15. And then to further his career, he joined the Worcester Academy, which is sad, really, when you think that Moseley could have reaped the benefit of having such a good player in their ranks, in their books. But sadly, to further his career, I'd say Max joined the Worcester Academy and he's gone from strength to strength. On Saturday, he scored a try under the post and he set up 2 others. So, big up to Max Stelling and good evening, Diane, your mum. Nice peck on the cheek from you for me on Saturday. I didn't tell the wife, but
I think you better keep that quiet.
Better keep that quiet.
I would.
Nobody's listening.
No.
I've got somebody who wants to listen but can't get in on a mobile. What do you do, Chris?
Well, you can get on the mobile if you go on to srbradio.com and scroll to the bottom, and there's a little player that you can push.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
srbradio.com. srbradio.com. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. So anybody out there who wants to listen to us, srbradio.com.
Yeah.
Please give us a listen.
Or the old one, Sports Radio.
Sports-radio.co.uk is the other address for us.
There's tuning nonsense.
Anyway, so my day out of the home on Saturday at Moseley was great. I saw another old pal as well. I followed him into the car park.
You've got other friends?
I've got a friend. I've got one friend.
Friends.
He's this is a real old acquaintance of mine. I actually used to play with this chap when I was at school. Perhaps I ought to rephrase that.
I would, yeah. You don't play. You
can't play with him. Can I, when we were at school?
No.
Doesn't sound right, does it, Chris? We used to play rugby against one another when we were at school. That's better, isn't it? Much better. This will all be edited out, won't it? Into that, it's not like this, is it? It'll all be edited out, won't it?
Of course, yeah.
Anyway, his name is Hong Kong Pete. Seriously?
Really?
Hong Kong Pete Evans.
He changed it by default.
No. He was a Hong Kong policeman. Right. So that's why he was called Hong Kong Pete.
Yes.
Pete was a great player for Moseley in the 80s. He was always there with his socks rolled down before it was fashionable to have your socks rolled down.
Good job his first name wasn't Philly.
Hong Kong Philly, yes. Philly Evans. No, it doesn't quite fit, does it really? But he's a hard man.
How are you, Philly?
Hong Kong Pete. Good evening, Pete Evans, if you're out there, mate, giving us a listen. I know you work the doors of Broad Street now. He's a hard man, is Pete.
Okay.
Bit of a tough nut, he's our Pete, but he's a great guy, a lovely rugby player. I met his son as well, Daniel. Big shout out for Daniel Evans as well, Pete's son. Nice to see you, Mike, your acquaintance, Daniel, on Saturday. And Pete, I invited you down to the Dixonians on Saturday where I said I'd buy you a pint if you turned up. That offer still stands, mate, if I can see you, as you're an ex-Dixonians player and also an ex-Dixonians coach. It'd be great to see you down at Roweheath Pavilion on Saturday, Hong Kong Pete. Don't bring your truncheon. It is his name, Hong Kong Pete. It's like the Chinese hairdresser that your erstwhile owner, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
We've got a bit of a China. We've moved from France to China now. You can't say this show isn't global, can you, Chris?
Well, it isn't. We were talking about this yesterday, and we've added a few more countries onto our listenership now.
Have we? Like who?
Madagascar.
Madagascar.
I know.
That's where the lemurs are from, isn't it?
Madagascar.
Those lemurs with the big eyes and the ringy tails.
Madagascar.
Lots
of listeners in Russia.
Russia?
For some reason, yeah.
Russia? Can I understand us over there in our Birmingham accents?
I must have. Somebody's listening to us. It's a big country.
Big country. Siberia. Vladivostok. Can I say that, Chris?
Yeah, Vladivostok. Yeah.
Vladivostok. Yeah. That's where the Trans-Siberian Railway ends, you know. Vladivostok. From Moscow to Vladivostok.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. You see? You learn something every day,
You're
don't
a font of all knowledge.
I'm a font. I'm a right font, isn't I?
Yeah.
Absolute font. Anyway, back to the rugby. This Saturday sees the start of the Autumn Internationals, which is a great. Other than the Six Nations, the highlight of Northern Hemisphere rugby internationally. And the fixtures go as follows. This Saturday, the 1st of November, the Barbars, who you might know, Chris. You heard of the Barbarians? The Barbarians, correct. Well done. You are listening to what I talked to you about.
Yep.
The Barbars take on Australia, who have a new coach in Michael Cheika. Now, Michael Cheika is an interesting character because he's a bit of a Jose Mourinho of rugby, really, Chris. I mean, we know that Mourinho, is it correct that Mourinho has won the Champions League with 3 different clubs? Is that right?
I think.
Is that correct?
I think we probably can confirm.
Mourinho has won the Champions League with 3 different clubs?
Yeah.
And but Michael Cheika is the only rugby coach to have won the Northern Hemisphere Premier Competition, the Heineken Cup, as was, now the European Champions Rugby Cup, and the Super 15. which is the Southern Hemisphere competition.
Their version of
the
European,
Heineken,
yeah.
the top ranked,
right.
which features clubs from New Zealand, South Africa, and Argentina and Australia. As we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, when Australia lost their first ever game in the Rugby Championship, which is the international version of their equivalent of the Six Nations, if you like, when they lost to Argentina, Australia did. And that was part of what precipitated, but it also the Kirtley Beale Gate scandal has precipitated. Can say that, Chris? Precipitated.
I can see that you left school with more than your swimming certificate.
I also got me cycling proficiency as well, Chris.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Swimming and cycling, I can do both.
Oh, well done.
Multitasking, I am good at that.
Incredible.
I can also add to do sums and all. And I can read and write and all.
In it,
mate. No, Michael Checker. Going back to Michael Checker, he's the only coach to have won the Heineken Cup in the Northern Hemisphere with Leinster. He won it 3 years. Twice with Leinster, and also he won the Super 15 with the Waratahs, the Australian side based around New South Wales. So it's an interesting appointment. Say, Ewan McKenzie was forced to resign by Kirtley Beale Gate. Kirtley Beale is the enfant terrible, back to the French here, enfant terrible fullback of Australian rugby. He was found to have abused a female Australian Rugby Union official with a disgusting text. And
how disgusting was he?
Nobody said. Nobody said. They wouldn't reveal exactly what he called her. Or,
you're hopeless.
But there was a piece on Radio 5 tonight asking one of the Nick Phipps. It's a great name, isn't it, for an Australian? Nick Phipps, like that. Nick Phipps, the Australian scrum, was asked if misogyny. Is that good? Can I say that, Chris? Misogyny.
Yeah.
The hatred of women, I think. The hatred of women. Misogyny, is that rife amongst Australian rugby union players? And he was forced to deny it after. But Kirtley Beale Gate has put the light to that one, because Kirtley roundly abused this Di Paxton, this female rugby official from the ARU, the Australian Rugby Union, and this is what caused Ewan McKenzie, the no-nonsense, tough Australian coach, to resign in a fit of pique, not pique, and he's been replaced by Michael Checker, who we say he's got a great CV and great credentials, having won both the Heineken Cup and the Super 15. So the jury's out, and that's all happening a year before the World Cup. The Aussies have got a new coach, Michael Checker, but I'm sure Michael Checker will do well for the Aussies, and he's got an easy start against the Barbars, so they'll throw it around a bit. Can I say that? Can the Barbars throw it around a bit?
They can throw it around here.
Yeah, bit of sheep tossing.
Yeah.
Barbars. Get it?
Yeah, get it, yeah.
See what I did there?
Yeah. Just it wasn't funny.
No, it wasn't. I can see the tumbleweed coming again. They're blowing down the high street again, Chris. They're coming to fetch me. Anyway, sorry. The Barbars against Australia is this Saturday, and also the New Zealanders are playing the USA in Chicago. So Chicago. The New Zealanders. Sorry, go on.
Why Chicago?
Well, American rugby isn't really the game. They look upon us as superhumans, us rugby players, because all American footballers dress up in armour, don't they?
Yeah, they do, basically.
Helmets and epaulets and armour and all that sort of stuff. They look upon rugby union as idiots, actually. They think that we're mad to play the game we do without all that protection that they've got. They wouldn't take the field without a helmet, without a box, and groin protection and all that. And they look upon rugby, and rugby's very much a minority sport in North America. Although Canada are better than the USA, but I think basically the All Blacks are doing a bit of a missionary position. Can I say that? A missionary position? They're trying to promote the game in the US by playing in Chicago. That's good. Because the Midwest is a bit of a hotbed of rugby, if you can say America's got a hotbed.
Just a sideways a bit. I didn't realise that USA and Canada play different games of American football.
Yes, they do. They're
I didn't know that.
Oh, is it different rules?
It's a different rules.
Is
yeah,
it?
I
must admit, my son is really into
Yeah.
NFL.
Yeah.
And we watched the game yesterday. Detroit Lions, by the way, and the Atlanta Falcons.
Falcons. Yeah.
Atlanta Falcons. Wasn't it fantastic? Weren't they?
I don't know
The
if it-
Falcons
no, can't
raced
see it.
into 21. Oh, you think it's rubbish, do you?
Yeah.
It is a TV oriented
Doesn't
game.
interest me. Just
Oh, I love it. I think the contact and the skills of some of the players is fantastic. I mean, I watched it back in the 80s when it first came on Channel 4 with John Riggins and, people like that, and I thought it was great. And as a rugby player, I do like it.
It's never took off over here.
It hasn't. I mean, they play 3 games a year at Wembley, and one of these games yesterday. I mean, yesterday's game was one of the closest they've had here because mostly when they played here, it's been a runaway game and it's not really grabbed the interest of the public. But I'm into NFL. I think it's great, and it was great to see the Atlanta Falcons going to 20-0 lead to be pegged back by the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
And go on.
Birmingham did have
Birmingham Bulls, yeah.
Birmingham Bulls, yeah.
Well, my wife's first boyfriend, would you believe, a young man called Richard Meanwell, who had the best
Richard Meanwell, another great name.
Richard Meanwell. He was my predecessor in my wife's affections. But he got a great boot on him. I know Richard really well.
He meant well.
He did mean well, yes, he did mean well, yes. His mum used to teach my sister, actually, at George Dixon Juniors. Anyway, that's by the by. Richard Meanwell played for the Birmingham Bulls.
Yeah.
He got the sweetest left foot and right foot. He was dual-footed. Can you be that? Can we ambifootress? Ambifootress. That's good. We made a new word.
Birmingham phrase.
Well, ambifootress. Yes, we like that. Yes, let's inventing words tonight. We're doing really well, aren't we? Anyway, he played for the Birmingham Bulls.
Yeah.
And I remember Mary telling me actually that she got into the press box one time when he was playing for them because they were going out at the time, and he got her a free press pass, and she got absolutely blathered in the press box, and he had a great time. Anyway, Richard had a trial for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
3 weeks prior to that. Did his knee ligaments, didn't he, the poor bloke? Otherwise, you could have been reading about Richard Meanwell as the latest NFL star kicker. So that was a few years ago.
There's a few kickers that have made it in
from rugby and football. Yeah. There's a guy called Dave Aldred who was Johnny Wilkinson's kicking coach, and he has also coached in the NFL kicking. It's a different skill though in the NFL because they come on cold, as it were,
just to do
that. That's one skill. They do nothing else. They don't pass the ball. Right. They don't run with the ball.
£500,000 a year.
Absolutely. Richard would have been made if he'd have. And a big shout out to you, Richard, if you happen to be listening. I know you now live in America, mate. Sadly, you didn't make your career in the NFL with the San Francisco 49ers, but you certainly left the door open for me and Mary. So thank you for that, mate. And good evening to you.
I think you're grateful.
I'm very grateful to Richard for leaving me to go to America and leaving me Mary. Leaving Mary and leaving her to me. Thank you. Anyway, yes, so I just want to wind up the show this week by saying that the Dixonians are back. My club, my junior club, the Dixonians. We've been trying to recruit a few players because we haven't played a game since last December, Chris, December 2013. And it turns out we've got a game this Saturday at Roeheath Pavilion with a 2 p.m. kick-off. If anybody's interested in rolling up and coming to have a few beers with us, and after the game watching the highlights of the Barbars Australia game on the big screen in our bar, we're playing Harborne. We're playing a Harborne Select 15. And it should be a good day, and it's the rebirth, the renaissance of the renaissance. Bit of Italian there, you say. A bit of an Italian job. Who am I trying to take off there? I don't know.
I know.
They're coming to take me away in a minute, so don't worry about it. Anyway, so get yourselves down to Roeheath Pavilion, which is in Bourneville, B31HH, for 2 o'clock on Saturday. See the old Dicks strutting their funky stuff again on the rugby field with some new players, and I look forward to welcoming you and buying, as I say, Hong Kong Pete's going to be there, so you can all meet Hong Kong Pete and he'll show you his truncheon with the notches on it if you wish. But he's just in shorts. Can you imagine that? A policeman in shorts and socks. Well. Get his truncheon. He used to dangle down the leg of his shorts, actually. That was his truncheon. Look up.
Yeah.
Are you thinking I'm thinking about something else
I
now?
know what
This
you're
is getting
talking about.
disgusting. This
It
is.
is.
I think you ought to play the closing credits.
Oh, it's
actually,
coming,
'cause
it's coming.
The music's coming. They're coming to take me away. Hi.
Before we wrap it up, can I just say by the magic of jiggery pokery, this show will be available to listen to again.
Okay.
Right? You can, if you go to the top of the page and click on listen again,
Yes.
by some magic that we know why it does it. You'll be able to listen to it again.
On Spreaker.com, is it?
Just on this page.
On our
go to
website.
listen again, or you can go to Spreaker.
Listen again or Spreaker. Listen again on the website, which is sportsradio.com. Is that right?
SRB Radio.
SRBradio.com.
You're going to ask me for the Spreaker address now, aren't you?
Well, it would be useful, but
Hang
never
on,
mind.
2 seconds. And
2 seconds and
it's www.spreaker.com/user/Go Radio.
Great. And with that, we'll say good night from the studio in downtown Solihull. Good night, Chris. Good night, Nick. Thank you for your support.
And yourself.
Good night, Grandpa.
Good night.
Good night, all.